Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. And in today's episode, we are talking about a proper fat loss, maintenance, and bulking phase, why they are important and how to do them. Now, most of you probably know what a fat loss phase means. It means losing body fat, losing some body weight usually. Some of you may know what maintenance is, right? So maintenance is where we are eating pretty much the same that we're expending. So our weight should stay about the same. But a lot of people, especially a lot of women, have not heard about bulking. A lot of men have know about bulking and want to do bulking because that means putting on muscle, but a lot of women are terribly afraid of that. They don't even consider it because that means higher calories, and that of course freaks women out. They don't want to do it. But all these phases are important, and especially maintenance. Maintenance is the phase where we want to spend most of our lives in, which is not what most women do. But don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm going to go through these phases in the right order and tell you what is the purpose of each phase and how to do it properly. So let's say that you have a fat loss goal and that you are already eating at your maintenance, or maybe you're eating a little bit more than that. This is how you know that you are actually ready for fat loss. And as I have talked in previous episodes, if your calories that you're eating right now are already less than your maintenance, then we first have to build your calories up to the level where you are in maintenance, because you cannot start a healthy fat loss from already being in a deficit, okay? But let's just say that there's a person who is eating at their maintenance or a little bit higher than that and wants to now do a fat loss. And the way we do it is that we're gonna, of course, cut the calories down a little bit, and it really depends on how much it is for each person. So a bigger person is going to have a bigger percentage, and the smaller person, smaller percentage, because we can't have a relatively lean person who still has a body fat goal to cut her calories down by 20%. This is just going to be too much, and it's not going to be good for her metabolism. Now, somebody who has a lot of weight to lose, maybe is obese, has a lot of weight to lose, then they can start with a deeper cut. They can start maybe like 20% or so. But for leaner people, it's going to be way less than that. And this is important to know because I don't want you to ever copy anybody else's deficits or anybody else's macros, because these numbers have to be designed for you and customized for you. And what somebody else is doing is likely not going to work for you. Okay, let's now say that we have started the deficit. So what's going to happen then next? Maybe I should first start with what shouldn't happen, and that is staying in deficit forever and ever and ever, which is what so many women do. They take their calories down and then they just keep eating this way. And I did this also. I ate very low calories for several years. Okay, of course, there are a couple of like binges when I really binged and my calories were higher, but most of the times my calories were really low, and that literally it was years. And no wonder that I massively downregulated my hormones and downregulated my metabolism. So that's why it's important that we don't stay in this deficit for too long. And usually after the first 12 to 16 weeks, we need to take a diet break, okay, to upregulate our metabolism again and to upregulate our thyroid hormone and sex hormones. It's very important to keep the body healthy. And this is not what most women do, but I do it with every single one of my clients. So let's say it has been 12 weeks or 16 weeks, and then we do a diet break. What is that going to look like? It's not going to look like eating absolutely everything and anything you want. It is still pretty strategic. You want to know how much you're going to eat, but you're going to eat a lot more than what you ate when you were in your deficit phase. And then after 1 to 3 weeks of doing that, we can do another fat loss phase, okay? So you can do 2 fat loss phases. So if you do 12 weeks, then the total is going to be 24 weeks. If you do more, it's going to be a little bit more, but you shouldn't be going longer than 16 weeks each time. And then it's time to stop. Okay, and this is the biggest mistake. The number one mistake that I see women make is staying in this deficit for super long, way more than 36 weeks. They're staying there for years, but we have to stop there. So after 2 fat loss cycles, it is time for a reverse diet. So everybody who has been through a fat loss cycle needs to build their calories back up again. And this is very scary for a lot of people because they automatically think that if I now increase my calories, then I'm definitely going to lose all the progress. So what was the point of me doing the diet phase or the fat loss phase if I'm going to lose all of that. And this is not the truth. So the goal of the reverse diet is to upregulate your metabolism and have you eating more, because you can't eat your deficit calories forever, okay? This is not healthy for you. So how do you do it? You increase your calories gradually, and you increase until you get to the point of your maintenance. And it's going to be gradual increase. And I know it's scary. Right now I'm working with somebody who is going through that, and this is her 4th week of a reverse diet. She had a very successful fat loss phase, and then we started the reverse diet. And she was also scared. She said, oh my goodness, I think my weight is going to go up. And I told her, well, we'll wait and see what happens. And her weight actually hasn't changed. We have increased her calories by 200 now, and her weight is the same. Now, sometimes the weight comes on a little bit, but that's fine because your measurements are still there. Your strength is still there. You're actually going to gain some strength as you increase your calories. You're going to have better energy. You're going to just feel a lot better because you are eating more now. But if you do it gradually, then the weight will stay pretty much the same, or it may go up a little bit, but this is not the most important thing. So either way, everybody needs a reverse diet after they have had 2 fat loss phases, okay? And what happens in the reverse diet is that we're going to increase your calories up to the point of your maintenance level. In other words, where you are eating as much as you are burning, right? I'm not talking about the exercise burning, but what your body's burning. So let's say that your total daily energy expenditure is 2,300 calories, then we're going to reverse you up to that same number. And I know that this is so scary for so many women, like, oh my God, I'm going to get super fat. No, you're not. If you do it strategically, you're going to have all the wins that you had in your diet phase, and you're actually going to feel better because you're going to have better energy and your hormones are going to upregulate and your metabolism is going to get faster. Okay, so this is your reverse, and reverse can take, it depends on a person. It can be as quick as about 8 weeks. It can take maybe 24 weeks. It really depends on a person. Again, there's no one answer that you should be there by this time. It doesn't work that way. It's super individual. That's why it's helpful to work with a coach who can monitor it really closely and tell you how to increase, when to stop. Okay, what is the next phase? We've covered the fat loss phase, we've covered the reverse, and the next phase is maintenance, okay? So now you've got your calories up to that maintenance point, right? Like I said, your energy intake and output are matching, and this is where you wanna now stay for a little while. You can do 2 things. You can keep eating at maintenance. If you don't have any more goals right now, you're like, I'm really happy with where I am right now. I want to stay that way. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying a lot more food than I ate before. Then cool, you can stay there. And honestly, maintenance is where you want to spend most of your life in, right? You shouldn't be spending most of your life dieting. You should be spending most of your life at maintenance, okay? And then the second option, if you still have another body physique goal, if you still have some body fat you want to lose, then you can do another fat loss, okay? But before that, you have to have been in maintenance for at least the same amount of time that you spent in a fat loss phase, okay? So let's say that your fat loss was 3 months, then you reversed up, and then you're gonna stay in maintenance for the same amount of time, 3 months, before you do another fat loss. But like I said, this is nothing you need to do necessarily. You can totally just stay there, and this is it. But then there's another next step that I highly recommend women do or take, but a lot of times they don't, and this is bulking. So bulking, when you hear bulking, you're like, no, I don't want to do this because it sounds like it's too much food. But it's actually not that bad. It's actually a great way to increase your strength and put a lot more muscle on the body. So bulking means eating a little bit more calories than what you're burning. So let's say that you're burning 2,300 every day, and so your bulk can look like maybe 2,400. It's not like eat whatever you want, however much. Let's go to like 3,500 calories, not like that, but in a slow, controlled way. You're just giving your body some extra fuel, because if the goal is to build muscle, the only way to do it is to give body fuel. So you cannot put muscle in your body if you don't eat enough, okay? It's possible to build muscle at maintenance, but it's so much better to build muscle when you are bulking. So adding some extra calories. totally a thing that most women don't want to do. They freak out. They think they're going to get fat. And yeah, you may actually gain a little bit of body fat in the process too. But hormonal speaking, it's very beneficial. It's super helpful for you. Your hormones are going to thrive. You're going to have a lot more energy. If you had issues like low energy, or your workout performance isn't where you wanted it to be, or maybe your sleep is not that great, or you're just feeling more fatigued, then this bulk is actually going to really boost all these things, and you're going to feel a lot better. And I don't want you to get super worried about the scale. I'm not a big fan of like measuring your progress on the scale anyways, but especially when you're bulking, you got to realize that yeah, you may go up a little bit, but gaining muscle, it's awesome. And it's also very hard to do. Kind of reminds me of like all these stories that women believe in, which is like, if you start lifting weights, you're gonna get super big overnight, and you're gonna gain a lot of muscle, and you're gonna look like a big buff bodybuilder dude. And this is not the case. I wish building muscle was easier, but it's not. And then it's going to take so much work and so much time to actually build even a couple of pounds of muscle. But if you want to do it, and I really recommend that you do, every once in a while at least, then you need a bulk. You need to increase your calories more than what you are taking in right now. So much fear around it, but definitely something that I recommend for your hormonal health. And so this is the full cycle. And this is what I want actually all my clients who do fat loss with me to go through that. Okay, if they don't want to do the bulking, that's fine, but at least the fat loss, and then the diet break, and another fat loss, and then reverse, and then maintenance. Because a lot of times we don't have that plan what happens like after the fat loss phase. We want to just left like, okay, cool, I lost this fat, great. But then they don't know what to do after that. So if we don't do a proper reverse diet after that, if we don't build their calories up to their maintenance level, which is a healthy point for them, then they're just stuck in this low calorie phase. And this is not healthy for them. And it's going to cause metabolic downregulation. If you stay there for too long, it's going to potentially cause some hormonal imbalances. Your thyroid, your sex hormone production will go low. So you shouldn't stay there. You have to have a plan after that fat loss phase too. And that's why I really recommend everybody who signs up with me, yes, we start with the fat loss phase, but then also we're going to talk about what happens later, because I don't want to leave you just halfway without realizing that, oh, okay, I actually, there's the next step that I should be taking. So this is the full cycle. It's fat loss, it is diet break, it's fat loss, then reverse, maintenance, bulk. And so, yeah, I know it sounds like a lot of work, but if you want to do it in a healthy way, this is the way to do it. And it's not as scary as it sounds. Also know that the more experience you have with tracking, the better you get. And at one point, it just becomes something that you do. It's not that hard. And of course, I don't think everybody should be tracking all their lives. Absolutely not. And I have taken time off myself as well. For example, last December, I had so many things going on, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it intuitively. I'm not going to track everything. I'm not going to weigh. And there were several weeks when I just took some time off and lived my life without tracking. And I was using the tools that I had learned while I was tracking. So it's not that, when you don't track everything just goes out the window. All the habits that you've learned, everything that you have learned and experiences just goes out the window. No, it's not like that. You're going to use what you learned when you were tracking, and this is how you maintain most of your life. So these are my thoughts today on the full cycle of losing fat and then keeping it off and keeping your metabolism healthy. If you have any questions on that topic, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.